Channel, subscribe, cane. Se inscreva nesse canal.
Yeah, so another one is Spanish.
Uhum. Subscríbete en este canal.
Hello and welcome to new episode. नाम तो बताना पड़ेगा. Today I have the leverage to talk one of my very good friend Marina Watanabe. I'm not very good in English name, but we're gonna deep down into the name. Don't worry about that. First, we can welcome our guest. How are you, Marina?
I'm okay, Salman. Thank you. I'm fine. How are you?
I'm very good. Thank you so much for giving your precious time to us. How's your day is going on so far?
It's a beautiful day here in Prague, sunny day. We had a little bit of a raining for a few minutes, and you know what happened? That's right before coming here now, like few
Mhm.
minutes ago, I was almost running late for our time,
Yeah.
and it started raining. It was only raining for 15 minutes, but
Okay.
it was specifically when I was getting out of the taxi to get here home, and I forgot my keys in the taxi. So I had a really hard time because it was raining. I was locked out out of my apartment, and I was had to quickly think, what do I do? I went to the Vietnamese mini market here right beside my place, and I was asking the lady, "Do you speak English?" Because that's the first thing. She should be able to understand me first, right, before helping me to communicate with the taxi driver. And then I was so fortunate that very quickly I found the waiter that was helping me. And it happens that the driver was Ukrainian, so they could not perfectly understand each other. But in the end, everything was fine. After like 30 minutes waiting for the ride to come in, I got my keys, but I was thinking, I was reflecting, right, that this podcast is about my experience living and traveling abroad and
Yeah.
working. And this is this is a perfect example of situations that you
Yeah.
can face on a daily basis that is challenging.
Of course, but you made it on time after all this struggle and challenge. You made it on for the podcast. Thank you so much. Before we're gonna deep down into that, just based on my research that you born in Brazil, tell me about yourself and your background.
So I am Brazilian. I'm from a little town in the countryside of the state of São Paulo in Brazil. My mom is descendant of Italians. My father is descendant of Japanese, but this is the usual Brazilian. We are a mix of nationalities, and I grew up in this small town in the countryside. 17 years of my life. Never traveled abroad before. When I traveled and lived abroad for the first time was in Mexico, where I lived for 1 year to do a program of the university. And then I lived in São Paulo for almost 10 years, and I got a job opportunity to go to Thailand on a leadership position in the company where I used to work in São Paulo. And I moved to Thailand even before ever being there.
You
So
know,
it was.
from my country, the first thing they want to do is to go to Thailand.
Oh, that's interesting. And
Yeah,
why
me too.
is
I
that?
went to Thailand, but we're gonna go into that anyways. So please.
Okay. Yeah, so I didn't choose to move to Thailand. I was in the company for 4 years, and I was looking for a new opportunity. I was promoted already like two, three times, and the office was relatively small, even though it was amazing to work there. And I was thinking, I'm too young, right, to continue here. I need to do something different of my life. And I had little bite, that taste on what was living abroad in Mexico. So I was like, I think I would like to have an opportunity to live and work abroad this time, not
So
study.
here I'm gonna have one question before you go move forward. That did you find any difference Brazil culture and in the Mexico in the very first place?
Yes, of course, in Latin America, if we compare to the Asian or to the European culture,
Hmm.
it's super different. But even though Latin Americans can have a lot in common, I would say that yes, there are a cultural difference between Mexican and Brazilian people, starting from the language, right? We speak Brazilian Portuguese, they speak Spanish, and even though it's similar, we cannot take for granted that someone who speaks Portuguese can perfectly speak and understand Spanish. So yeah, there were some cultural difference, yes, but it was easy to adapt because it's similar. Yeah. So maybe Mexico prepared me for.
How many language do you speak?
I speak three languages:
Oh,
Portuguese, Spanish, and English. Yes.
and if I want to say hi, how are you in Portuguese? How we can say that?
You can say Oi, tudo bem?
Oi, tudo bem?
Tudo bem.
Tudo bem?
Yes.
You know, in order to say, it seems in our native language, it seems like oi to to bank. It means like you are going to the bank. So
Ah, yeah. No,
to
yeah, it
bank.
means
Okay.
hi, how are you?
And your second name it is Watanabe, as you mentioned, is Japanese. So do you speak Japanese?
No, unfortunately not. When I was a child, my grandmother taught me some words, like taught me how to count until 10, sing some songs, but I don't speak.
So in the university you went to Mexico. So what did you study in Mexico?
Yeah, I study international relations.
Very
I
nice.
study in Brazil, right? It's a 4 years bachelor degree. And then 1 year I did it in Mexico, where I had my first internship and started my career.
So after the Mexico, your next move towards Thailand, as you said.
Yes, after
And how many years do you
Mexico,
live in
well,
Thailand?
I came back to São Paulo to finish the university. Then I did my master in business administration. Started. I left the Chamber of Commerce, Mexico, Brazil, which was my first work, and I started working in Eurocenter, the company I currently work at. I started in São Paulo, 4 years in São Paulo. Then I got this leadership position in Thailand, in Bangkok. And as I was saying, it's even though Thailand is an amazing destination, I didn't know
Oh,
much
trust,
about it.
oh, trust me. We as Pakistani, we know that.
Yeah, yeah, it is. It is an amazing country and an amazing destination.
How
But
you gonna say it is like in our point of view, is like party and culture, and if somebody's like want to do as a party and like I went for the full moon. So besides that, how do in as a because you went as a professional person as well, while as has a culture. So how do you define Thailand is an amazing?
for me, Thailand is way beyond that. That for me, party is not even something that I consider as top five best things about Thailand. Yeah, I think. Thailand is a place that offers you everything and it has many contrasts. So you can find authenticity, meaning that not everything is program regulated and supposed to work like that. Like in Singapore, for example, is an amazing country, but I had a feeling that everything is so ruled and so specific how it should work. And Bangkok, Thailand has this there's this chaos around. At the same time, you can find everything you want. So you have rooftops, you have Michelin restaurants, you have all sort of international cuisines, but you have the street food right there,
Yeah, yeah,
right? You
banana. I eat like they put some banana or something on the bread or something as a street food. I don't know
Yeah,
what's the name. I forgot about that.
there is this bread with ice cream on it as well. I think it was the first time that I saw something like this being sold. And you have also the tourist traps, like the Scorpios.
Okay, tell us an amazing incident I can say, or a story, or unforgettable event that has happened in your life in Thailand.
Life in Thailand. Well, many things happened to me in Thailand, but I think on my first week at work, I obviously had a huge pressure on me to get along with staff because I was in a leadership position. I am a woman. I was coming from South America. I was single. I I was young, very young, and I was going there to manage people who were older than me, more experienced than me, and all Thai. So there was a huge pressure to get along with them. So we went out eating and I ordered something and this something was super spicy. So knowing how important is food for Thai people, they love the food. They are super proud
Yes.
of their local cuisine. I don't want to disappoint, right? But it was almost unmanageable for me to keep eating because it was super, super spicy.
And you
And
eat it.
I think it was a green curry, yeah. And they told me it was not so spicy, but obviously we have different reference of spiciness
Mhm.
of
We have a
spicy.
different definition of a spices.
Yeah, yeah. But as I was telling you before, for me, Thailand is about this, is the contrast, is the chaos, mix it up with high technology. It's it's a place in constant development, my feeling.
Hmm.
It's a place where people are kind, people are humble, people try to help you, super safe. So many amazing things about there.
Moving to a new country, especially for the work where you have to do a job and survive and pay your bills, and what are the challenges a person or especially a woman can, for example, there are different girls and women out there maybe planning, or there's some already is in transit to go to a new country to a job, or what do you think, how come you overcome the pressure, as you mentioned that you went for the leadership, and how come you reduce that pressure and carry yourself in a new place?
I think it's difficult because I think the world is getting better in the sense of gender equality, but it's obviously we are not there yet. So I think if I was a European man on my 40s, I would have been better accepted in the very beginning, and it's natural.
If someone not local going towards different countries, for example North America, South America, it create an impact as an immigrant on your, regardless of your skills.
No, I think in general, right? When you
Hmm.
see an older man,
Hmm.
you take it more serious than when you see a young woman. That's just a fact, I think, for most of people. And then you start opening your mouth and you start sharing your knowledge. You start showing what you are capable of. People will listen to you and they will accept you. But first impressions is that's reality, right? And
Hmm.
um, even though the world is getting better on that, and I'm not talking about Thailand, I'm talking about the world, right?
Hmm.
Uh, Still, I think we have a very sexist corporate culture
Hmm.
worldwide. And I'm lucky that to work on a company where we do have many women on power, on management positions. And I had the opportunities I had, but obviously you need to conquer your space, right? You need to set boundaries. You need to show what you are capable of. Otherwise, people will just think that you are just a soft face, and yeah.
As I said, like if somebody is trying to moving, what one advice you're gonna give to those people that gonna face a new challenge, new pressure, and the difference of between local and immigrant, how they can overcome that pressure, as you did as a young person, as a leadership role in Thailand?
I think it's important to go with an open mind. Humility, humbleness, that's very important. I think when we go abroad, we need to understand that we are entering someone else's territory. And we need to embrace the local culture. We need to be empathic to understand how that people may think on a different perspective than you think, and that there is no better or worse, there is just different. And if you go with an open heart to really experience those difference and those chains on reality, and learn and live and experience, be open to people, understand what they have to tell you, no judgment, no bias, uh, you will be fine, right? Like when I arrived in Thailand, I had a huge challenge ahead of me professionally because there were issues in my department, and uh, I wanted to hear everyone and I wanted to know everyone's skills. I wanted to understand everyone's perspective, even though some final decisions were up to me or to the higher management. For me, it was important to be open to what people had to say.
Very, very nice. I think there's a cool advice. You spend time in Thailand, then based on our knowledge that you moved to US as well, and then you ended up in Czech Republic in Europe. So why so much traveling, and what are the different experience that you have so far in between these countries?
As I was explaining, in the same company, I have been in this company, in the group, for 9 years. I started in Sao Paulo for
Nice.
4 years, had this opportunity in Thailand where I stayed for 4 years. And then I decided that I wanted to be closer to Brazil, to be on a place by yourself without family and friends who knows you from your whole life, right? So it's
Mhm.
a chance you have to be whoever you want to be that is inside you and that is hidden. So I didn't turn into a different person. I was always who I was, but I was open-minded enough to go with open heart to hear people, to understand their culture, and bring a little bit of what they had to teach me with me, right? And the Thai culture was really about kindness, patience, humbleness. Yeah, and I think this really helps you to expand your vision, and expand who you are, even on a psychological perspective. As a human being, you start being a different person with those experiences, right?
Why is that? What makes you
Because
changed being yourself in your local and being in the new country?
because you go through so much change, right? Is
Hmm.
starting a life from zero in a country that is so different from the country you come from involves many things. You need to be quick on problem solvings. You need to be resilient because you will feel alone, and you will feel that it's you and only you, and this you rarely feel in your home country because you have family and you have friends. um, so we need to build that, and this built you somehow, right? How do you show people who you are? How do you
Nice.
tell your story? How do you build trust?
Hmm.
And what do you do in those circumstances where unexpected things happens and you
Hmm.
don't speak the language? And when I talk about language, it's not even like the local language, is also in terms of body language, behavior. So it goes, it's a lot of adaptability, flexibility, resilience, critical thinking. I think it shapes you as a human being. If you really embrace the challenge and the change, then you go out of the expat bubble. I think that can really shapes who you are.
Perfect. Thank you so much for giving a very, very good advice. So I have my next question with you. We're gonna go very quick around this question. That you moved to USA and then Europe. That why is that changed? So it because of the job, or they assigned that role, or is like your own choice? And why you are not staying in USA?
It was my choice. I was in Thailand for 4 years, and I wanted to be closer to Brazil after ending a relationship, a long-term relationship I had in Thailand,
Hmm.
and also some very good friends that were also Brazilian moving out of Thailand. And that's the thing about foreigners living abroad. Very few people stays forever in that country, right? People either relocate to other countries or they go back to their home countries. So yeah, I think it was a combination of factors. I was also looking for another challenge. I had the ambition to work for the headquarters of my company, which is here in Prague. But then I was invited to go to Miami on a temporary project. And I was there, it was supposed to be 4 months. I chose not to stay, even though Miami is a nice city to live, and being able to speak and understand the language of the place where you live is a super plus. That was something that I really liked about the US, right? That there is no
Here
language
I'm gonna ask a
processing.
question.
Hmm.
And the question is like, how did your time is what do you think that different from your experience in Thailand and Europe right now in USA?
I think it's totally different societies. I think in Thailand, of course, you cannot generalize, like you cannot say that it's for everybody, but I think society in Thailand value a lot simplicity somehow. Um, and I think Miami is a place that things shines in terms of luxury, and sometimes social connections are shaped based on interests.
Mhm.
So it's an amazing lifestyle, but it's involved, it's surrounded by this desire of showing who you are by things you have.
Mhm.
And I think it's very different from Thailand in that sense. And it was an
Mhm.
amazing experience in Miami. It was very convenient because it's only 8 hours flight from Brazil,
Mhm.
but I thought that it was not the place for me at that time. I made good friends, two good friends. There's a vibrant Latin American community there, which brings this sense of home. And although there are many amazing things about Miami, but I also, in terms of the professional opportunity, I preferred the role I would have in Prague instead. So that was why I didn't stay there.
Okay, perfect. The point that you mentioned, socializing is very important. So tell me, I'm guessing that you definitely make friends abroad in different countries. So how that friendship influence your life and impact on your life?
I think that is the number one factor for someone to be happy on a place. I am a person who deeply value friendship. So obviously, the first thing I would think in whatever country I would move is how do I make friends? I was saying before, how they didn't go to school with me. They are not my friends for 10 years. They didn't work with me for 4 years. How do I prove then that I am a nice person?
Yeah, here I'm gonna cut you and ask you a little bit sub question that is it difficult and tell us how to make friends.
It's not difficult if you are an extrovert. I think I am an extrovert person. I'm not super shy, right? I can talk to people, I can approach people, but this for some other kind of person, this can be difficult. It can be scary. And yeah, so for me, it was like in Thailand, I subscribed in an expat community, global expat community platform called Internations. And that really helped me to go on events and meet people. And even for me, who I consider myself an extrovert, even for me, it was hard to arrive at those venues on those events alone and shake hands. I'm Marina, I'm here to make friends. Like what do you say? Yeah. um but most of people there after first time, second time, understood that most people there are there for the same purpose: to
Mhm.
connect with other people, to develop friendship, and the sense of community, the sense of belonging to a group. I think it really impact if someone is going to have a good or a bad experience in a place. So that was always my number one priority whenever moving to a different country. And in Thailand, after 1 year, I met then the group of people who were then the closest friends to me. And I met someone in a yoga class. This girl introduced me to the group of Brazilians, and then I met some friends there that became the closest friend I had in Thailand for the following 3 years.
Very nice. So I believe that you approach people and you make friends and also as well in the life as well, because my next question is a mix. It's going to cover all this concept. Rejection, maybe not everybody get interested, or after a time being you get not very good along, and in the professional career as well. So my question is about how do you handle rejection and step back, and how you handle that.
To be honest with you, I think I'm quite lucky that I had to deal with that very, very few times in my life. And I think it's really a matter of lucky because none of us is perfect, right? So we obviously go through that. People go through that all the time. But I think your behavior towards that speaks volumes on who you are, your reaction on that, right? Here in Prague, for example, I think I dealt with that for the first time in my life in the friendship aspect. I had a little bit of an issue with someone who pertained to a group of friends, and this person uh, didn't like me for a random
With no
reason.
reason.
Uh, I don't know, jealousy or
Okay.
gossip. I don't know.
Okay.
Honestly, at that time I was quite confused, and
Hmm.
that touch I spot on me that is very sensitive because, as I said before, friendship is everything for me.
Very
So
nice.
being rejected on the field of friendship, it's not something that I experienced ever before. So I was lost on how to deal with that, and I first thing I did was to use my adaptability skills, right? I was thinking, okay, what can I do to adapt the situation, and how can I have an open mind towards this? As I said before, I truly believe on the power of understanding perspectives. So I didn't want to victimize myself to say, oh, I am the good, this person is the bad. I really wanted to understand. And after a lot of reflection, I understood that I shouldn't take it personally, that it was probably more to do with the situation or the person perspective over that situation over me on that scenario, then something I did wrong, and then I overcame that. I found my tribe here, my group of friends, and I'm very happy for that. But of course, I miss connections, deep connections I made in other countries as well. But it's a matter of time. Sometimes it takes longer for you to find your tribe, to find your group, your community. And I think what I take from this experience is that, not every group is for you.
Exactly.
Sometimes a rejection is a door that opens for you to go to another way. And then later I understood that, okay, maybe that friendship with that specific person didn't mean to be because I pertained to another group where I could add more value.
Right. Oh, that's true. I mean, they said that in order to make a big jump, you have to step back, two step back. So how much do you agree with that statement?
I agree. Uh, in the work, I never faced rejection because I was
Mhm.
always very cautious, yet ambitious, but cautious on my decisions and my professional steps. Yeah, I think sometimes in the professional life specifically, you need to give a step back in order you can give a step forward to the direction you want. When I chose here instead of Miami, for example, the position here was not the same I would have there. And for some people could feel as I step back, but it was really more aligned with things that are important for me, which is development and learning and being involved with communications, driving global strategies. So for me, in that moment, that was more important.
What are the job market in Europe, I can say, or specifically in chess right now?
The unemployment rate in Czech Republic is very low, so there
Hmm.
are a lot of jobs for skilled people.
Hmm.
So I would say that it's not that hard to get a job here, although I cannot say much because I was not hunting for a position here, right? I moved because of the company, so I already had the position. But on what I see from friends, if you try hard, if you put efforts on that, and if you are skilled, I think you can find a nice work here. Yeah.
In regards to my previous question, what type of skill is very in demand in Europe or in chess right now these days?
IT is a very demanded position here.
Okay.
I think that this field has plenty of opportunities in Europe as well.
Perfect. So, guys, you are listening to Marina as well. So, is anybody out there having thinking about to change their professional career? Go into the IT. Don't decide anything else, because if you want to successful in Europe or North America, so go for the IT. Now is the time us for to play a game. The game is complete the incomplete, in which the concept of this game is to have this motivation to that people that watching our podcast, that me and you gonna see the picture, and you're gonna have to say, it could be a word or a sentence that has some meaning based on that picture, and I'm gonna say second statement that combines your statement and make a sense out of it. The concept behind these two statement is to portray that meaning, that is anybody out there is stuck somewhere to accomplish their goal, and they can get the help, or if anybody out there is able to give to do a help to someone, so they can do that to achieve common goals and all these things. And the first picture is in your screen, is a puzzle.
It's a good picture that makes me think about life and work somehow. I think sometimes you need to put pieces together to see
Mm-hmm.
the bigger picture, right?
Oh, very nice. Excellent.
Yeah, and in life, not only about changing countries or adapting, but sometimes when there are a lot of things going on with you, little things here, little things there, sometimes you need to really take your time, think, put things together, and see if it makes sense.
So now is my turn. I am very confused because you gave excellent answer. The puzzle show the bonding of people, that I think is also portraying the concept of our game as well. That if you put things together, because you need another puzzle to make the previous puzzle make sense. So I think it is very important in life to get the help and be stick to each other and help each other to make something good for the world. So
Very
the
good.
next picture in our screen in front of us is there. I think is a market in Thailand. Is your ex country picture?
I think this is a lot about having many different choice and opportunities,
Mhm.
having an open catalog. It's in
Oh,
vibrance and colors and a lot of people. And this is a nice, probably analogy of what is style.
excellent. So you are giving me a hard time, Marina. Anyways,
Sorry.
life is full of ups and downs, like a market. When you go to the market, you have so many things,
Hmm.
and so many things to choose, so many things to leave. But sometimes you don't want to leave, and sometimes you don't have an option. So market means that you have so many opportunities, and so I think life is also have so many things, ups and down and opportunities like this, and sometimes we stuck, sometimes we don't want to leave, sometimes we don't
Hmm.
want to adapt. But it is very important to sometimes to leave for a better thing and better uh, opportunity. So for me, I think life is also a market of ups and downs, but you have to choose where you're gonna have to move on and what you have to leave on. The last picture of this game is in front of us, which is the lighthouse on a rocky mountain. Oh, I think this is interesting. What are you going to
Hmm.
say about it, Marina?
Think about two things. I think it's resilience and creativity. So I think there are a lot of times of darkness in life
Mm-hmm.
in general, especially when you're starting from zero in a new country. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes the light in the end of the tunnel or the light in the lighthouse always comes from the inside. Yeah.
Wow.
So you need
Excellent.
to be able to see, to find that inner power and being open mind to find the resource that you need to survive those times of darkness.
I think I'm going to say that if you stand tall, like this lighthouse, you're gonna shine definitely 360 of the world. Like this, the light go in 360 direction. So I can say that it's just a matter of how tall in every situation you can be stand on. So
Mhm.
I'm gonna say that. So you need to stand tall, guys, no matter what. Don't bow down and don't give up, and just be yourself and just keep moving forward. And definitely your time will gonna come soon, and you're gonna shine in the world as well. So perfect.
Very
So
nice. Wow.
thank you. So the game ends at this point. We can move to our another section in which we're gonna go towards some casual questions. And just tell me about because you said that you have friends in different countries. Do you have friends in Pakistan,
No,
or do you know anybody who is from Pakistan?
only you.
Oh, okay. So I'm that the luckiest person. Okay, perfect. So did you know?
Probably I met people from Pakistan
Mhm.
here and there on my travels, but that I consider a friend that I still stay in touch. I think it's only you, Salman. Feel
Oh,
special.
oh, thank you so much. So you can say um, subscribe this channel.
You are kidding me. I'm not in that level yet. But you know, I know how to say beer, which is pivo. It's very
Okay.
important in Czech Republic,
Okay.
and how to say like hello, how are you? It's like dobry den.
Okay. So
That's it.
you're gonna say subscribe this channel in Spanish, in English, Portuguese, and then I'm gonna tell you in Urdu. So in four language, you're gonna say to this audience to subscribe this channel. Are you ready for that?
Yes.
So we can start with Portuguese.
Se inscreva nesse canal.
Thank you. English.
Subscribe on this channel.
Yeah. So another one is Spanish.
Suscríbete en este canal.
In Urdu, I'm gonna say to you, and you're gonna try to say in Urdu as well. So it's gonna be the four language. So in Urdu, we can say channel subscribe kane.
Channel subscribe kane.
Very good. Thank you so much. Guys have to subscribe this channel. I really appreciate your time for today and sharing your experience, your knowledge, your personal perspective. So what last note and you're gonna give to the audience to take away from your experience, and what you're gonna say as a last note to our audience?
I think what I can say about my experience is that, well, living abroad gives you a whole different perspective of the world, and it's all about fostering diversity, different cultures perspective. This build on you a hard expansion, almost a conscious expansion, right? But you know, you actually don't need to cross continents to achieve that. You can pursue that opportunity, because I truly believe that everyone can reach whatever goals they set to themselves, if they are really determined. Of course, there are different obstacles to different people, but if you don't have that opportunity, put yourself out there, hang around with different people, from different tribes, from different groups, from different positions at work than you have. That's how you have the chance as well to see different types of mindsets, and to grow from there.
Thank you so much. Very well said. Wish you a very good weekend.
Thank you, Salman. It was really nice. And well, thank you for the opportunity. It was an amazing chat. And I'm sending all the best to everyone also watching it, and thanking everyone for listening to me and to your podcast.
तो उम्मीद करता हूँ आज की एपिसोड आप लोगों को बहुत अच्छी लगी होगी। इस चैनल को सब्सक्राइब करें, सपोर्ट भी करें, और आप लोगों में से अगर कोई इस पॉडकास्ट में आना चाहता है और अपना नाम बताना चाहता है तो नीचे दिए गए ईमेल के ऊपर मुझे ईमेल करें। आई विल ट्राई माई बेस्ट टू आंसर ऑल ऑफ दिस ईमेल्स। तब तक के लिए अपना ख्याल रखें। नेक्स्ट एपिसोड भी बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग होने वाली है, जिसमें हम डिस्कस करने वाले हैं स्टूडेंट वीज़ा फॉर यूके। मिलते हैं नेक्स्ट एपिसोड में।